Previously on Calamity 300 times spawn rates. After gearing up for the lunatic cultist, I head to the dungeon and fight him. I win after a couple of attempts and defeat the pillars. This summons the Moonlord, and then it happened. My power goes out. My recording corrupted, but the game saved. So what you're about to view is a recreation of the lunatic cultist and pillars. Thankfully, I didn't defeat the Moonlord first try though, so everything Moonlord and onward is the actual first recording. The recreations are still genuine, however, just not my first attempts. Now that that's out of the way, let me tell you about the lunatic cultist fight. This fight took a couple of tries due to Calamity making it a lot harder, but I still got it pretty fast. He begins the fight by casting various spells on me. He'll cast a lightning spell, ice spell, star spell, and fire spell. After casting these hexes, he'll clone himself, and you're supposed to hit the correct clone, but I never do. I hit the wrong clone and he summons an Ancient Vision. The Ancient Vision is just a floating head that'll chase me down. Following this, he moves faster and casts his spells a lot faster. He can now also summon purple orbs called the Ancient Doom. These orbs cause me an annoying amount of trouble. They will just fill your entire screen with bullets in a very hard to dodge pattern. A little past half health and he summons more clones. Unsurprisingly, I miss again, summoning another Ancient Vision. Past this point, this fight dissolves into chaos. There are icicles and purple orbs everywhere, and the cultist is just teleporting all around the arena. To sum it up, it's a madhouse. The madness continues on until I win the fight. Winning this fight summons the Celestial Pillars. Actually, fighting the pillars is very boring and it doesn't change in Calamity. Just know I died a lot. After the pillars, the Moonlord spawns and I die basically instantly. After a couple of tries, I figure out the fight and I get this attempt. The Moonlord fight has remained basically untouched by Calamity. That being said, it's still not an easy fight. It starts out with you having to defeat 3 eyes, 2 on his hands and 1 on his head. These eyes will shoot lasers at you, summon more eyes to shoot at you, and most importantly, the top eye will summon a giant death beam at you. From here on out, almost every boss will have a huge death laser, so it'll be important for me to learn how to dodge them. Once I take out the eyes, the core opens. Once this happens, the eyes will now spawn a barrage of eyes that hunt me down. And there are like 5 times more lasers. Thanks to me re-equipping the recon scope though, I stay far away from the Moonlord, helping me dodge the lasers. After enough running, I take down my greatest foe yet. After this fight, the credits play, but this isn't the end. We're just getting started. I open my treasure bag and I get 2 of each melee weapon, a magic weapon and a rogue weapon. Very helpful. What is actually helpful is the Luminite it drops, allowing me to finally make the Vortex armor I mentioned earlier. Along with the Vortex armor, I can make Luminite bullets. These bullets are a godsend as they allow me to pierce through multiple enemies. This makes them basically the best bullet I can have since I'm constantly being bombarded with enemies. I go to the operator and buy another treasure bag to get the SDMG. This will be my go-to weapon for a while, until a little later into the game. The SDMG is the upgrade to the Mega Shark, and boy it shows. This absolute unit does 150 damage and has insanely fast speed. It shreds through enemies and bosses alike. The next step in my journey is the Profane Guardians, and I'm almost already ready. I do need to prepare a little bit more though. Some notable upgrades I make are the Celestial Tracers, a combo of boots and wings that save me an accessory slot since it's a 2-in-1 combo. The Community, an accessory that gives a small stat bonus for each stat, including health and damage. This stat will increase slightly after each boss I defeat. After making these upgrades, I attempted the fight to no success. In most of these attempts, I got them extremely low and eventually got this attempt. In this fight, there's 3 different bosses. Up first is the Guardian Healer. He will heal the other 2 Guardians, requiring you to take him down first. Along with the healing, he will summon stars in a circle pattern and fire a barrage of spikes from above. While the healer does this, the other 2 bosses will shoot lasers and fires at you, and another death beam. I take out the healer pretty fast, summoning the Guardian Defender to the fight. He is a lot more aggressive than the healer, summoning homing fires, rocks, and dashing at you. He is a lot harder to hit as he's a lot more sporadic than the healer, but I eventually take him out, leaving just the Guardian Commander. This is the final stretch of the fight. He'll dash, summon lasers that fill up the entire screen, and fire massive fireballs that break into smaller, lightning-fast homing fires. This fight is not easy, but after dodging for a while, I get my adrenaline and take my final shots. After winning, I'm almost ready for my greatest foe yet, Providence. I need to gear up just a smidge more though. I need an accessory from Dragon Folly, but to make his summon, I need some Scoria ore. And to be real, I'd rather fight the Ravager for the ore versus mining for it. After I win, I open the geode and get the ores I needed. I can now make life alloys and the Dragon Folly summon. I craft it and head into the jungle to start the fight. This fight is a joke. I've beaten him on the first try on every playthrough I've ever done. At the start of the fight, he'll dash at you and summon a wall of lasers that are supposed to home in on you, but they are very slow. He also summons some goons, but they are laughably weak. At 60%, he'll make real walls to block you out of some areas. But this isn't an issue, and I just go to the other direction. He'll now also dash faster and summon more projectiles. He gets me surprisingly low, but I take him out. Winning this fight grants me the Dynamo Stem Cells. This is a goated accessory because it'll increase damage and movement speed, but also fire a mini swarmer every 3 seconds. After equipping this, I grab the Profane Core and try to take down Providence. And it ends as well as you'd expect a first attempt to go. I get very close in one attempt, but just barely fall short. I do some trial and error until this attempt comes up. This fight starts out tough. She will do every attack the Profane Guardians do, but better. She'll shoot giant fireballs, homing fires, lasers, and stars. When she fires the lasers and stars, she will surround you with fire so you can't escape. Randomly during the fight, your flight time will be reduced to half of its max, making it 1,000 times harder to dodge the millions of projectiles. One especially hard to dodge attack is her death beam, because like I said earlier, you have barely any flight time. There's also just a lot going on in this fight. The homing fires are always on your tail, and some fires even stick to the ground like glue. At around 35%, she will revive the Profane Guardians. To continue the fight, you must defeat all 3 of them. They don't add much to the fight other than acting as a body shield, so I take them down with ease. This is where the fight gets really scary. She gets a lot faster and I almost sell the fight, but I defeat her and move into the next stage of the game. Upon killing Providence, I get the Rune of Cause, which allows me to summon all 3 Servants of the Scourge. Before I take them on, however, I feel like the SDMG has run its course and needs a replacement. I need the Blood Boiler. This flamethrower-like gun does great damage, but also has lifesteal. One small problem is I need bloodstones to craft it. I try to get them normally through hell enemies, but then reality sets in. In order to get this and not spend hours of my life on it, I will have to fight the Ravager again. Once I win the fight and get the Bloodstone, I go to the dungeon, get a little Necroplasm, but it's a fast and easy trip. I make the Bloodstone cores and the Blood Boiler. And boy is this thing good. Now that I have my weapon, I decided that the Stormweaver will be the first of 3 to go. After losing a few times, I realized I needed a new armor set. So I went mining for Eidolc ore, and for the first time in the playthrough, I can mine normally. Yes, I'm still being attacked every millisecond, but I'm not instantly being killed. This type of progress is huge and really shows how far I've really come. Once I mine all the ore I need, I make Tarragon armor. I fight the Stormweaver some more, and eventually win. This fight wasn't easy, but it was definitely the easiest of the 3. This fight starts out pretty easy. All you need to do is circle around its tail. He's too slow to catch you, so you won't be hit. At 80%, he'll go into Phase 2. In Phase 2, his armor will break, and he will now dash at you, along with summoning lightning. This goes on until 55%, when he enters the 3rd phase. He can now summon clouds from above, which are extremely hard to dodge when you're also running away. The upside is that he won't spawn lightning anymore when he dashes. The final phase is at 30%. The weather will change into a thunderstorm, and the Stormweaver gets a whole bunch of new abilities. He will make tornadoes and enclose you into a tight space. In this small area, he will slowly chase you and spawn more clouds from above. This fight gets close, but I take the win. I don't get much from this fight except materials to make the Cosmic Worm, the Devourer of Gods summon item. Next on the list is Cygnus. This fight takes a couple attempts, but I get it after a while. Cygnus is a very fast boss, and he requires a lot of movement to be able to dodge. He will sprint at you and teleport to the spots he marks in the arena. He will also spawn in homing balls that I just ran away from. He can also make a wall of bullets, but you can just dash through them, so it's light work to dodge. In Phase 2, he will make a trail that explodes when he dashes at you, so you can't be directly behind him or else you will be blown up. He will also just speed up in general, and become a lot more chaotic. As he gets lower, he gets faster and faster until I take him out. There's now only one servant left, the Ceaseless Void. He is fought in the dungeon, but I really didn't want to make an arena, so I just fought him above the dungeon in the Skeletron arena. This boss took a lot of attempts and rage quits because of this choice, but it was either that or spend hours on an arena while thousands of dungeon enemies attacked me. After 14 attempts, attempt 15 was the one. This fight was a drag. He makes a star pattern of shadow orbs that surround him and eventually get sucked into him. You have to try to stand still while dodging, otherwise you'll be completely cooked by the orbs. After you take out enough orbs, he will start to suck in the shadow orbs, and you'll also be pulled into the void. Once I do enough damage to the void, the second round of orbs will appear. They are the exact same, but there's an additional layer added to the star. I take them down, and the whole being sucked into the void part is the exact same. Once I do enough damage, again, it's the same deal. There's another layer added to the orbs, and he tries to suck me into the void. I don't get sucked in, however, and I just barely win the fight with 100 health. After winning this fight, the Rune of Cost bosses have been taken down. There is still one major boss I have to defeat though, Polterghast. I absolutely despise this boss, but I still have to take it down, as his gear is very good. I realized I needed to make an arena in the dungeon, despite me not wanting to. But I had a genius idea. I would summon the King Slime and just let him bounce around while I built the arena, and not nearly as many mobs spawned. I start work on the arena and finish up a little faster due to the Celebration MK2. I summon the Polterghast, but he leaves the fight even though I thought I was still in the dungeon biome. I was honestly sick of him, and I'ma be real for a second. I used a City Buster to make the arena for me. Call it cheating all you want, but I made a legit arena and it didn't work, and I really didn't want to have to make a second one. After making this arena, I started the fight. Now that Polterghast wasn't enraged, this fight was a lot easier. Their AI is a lot like Plantera's AI. They will chase you and shoot a shotgun of bullets around the arena. After chasing me for a bit, he will dash. He also makes these weird looking things that latch onto walls and shoot at you. After doing this for a while, he will detach from his chains and shoot more bullets, dash faster, and hit harder. He now also can dash a second time whenever he turns red, and also shoot red bullets that go faster, further, and do more damage. He does this until 60%. At this part of the fight, he clones himself, and when I was fighting him, I really didn't know which one I was supposed to be hitting, and I accidentally killed the clone. Big mistake. This makes the Polterghast enraged. In this final phase, he will move even faster, charge at me 4 times in a row, and can summon happy spirits. As a last-ditch effort, at 20% health, he'll move insanely fast. This doesn't work, however, and I win the fight. After winning this fight, this is where I want to call it for today's episode. Make sure to like and subscribe, and join the Discord for more videos. Next one will be a banger, that's all I'm gonna say.